Keep watching this video if you want to learn how to make this edible Skittles iPhone. First thing you'll need is a phone case. Any phone case will do. And then the next step is to coat it with some oil so your Skittles don't stick. So I'm going to use here my spraying cooking oil. And the most important thing is to make sure that you get it into all the little grooves and cracks and everything so that your Skittles do not stick. My rainbow iPhone is going to start with pink, and so I have about 25 pink Skittles here that are so delicious, and I've microwaved them for about 20 seconds. I'm going to smush them up, then I'm actually going to put them in the microwave again for about 10 to 15 seconds just to make them into just a little bit more of a liquid form, and that's going to make it easier to put on your iPhone case and smush them into those teeny tiny cracks. You're going to carefully scoop up your Skittles. Now just remember that these could be quite hot, so you want to be super careful doing this. And then you just want to try to spread it in there. And I'm being very careful here. They are quite sticky still, so it's not just going to pour right out. And you want to, again, try to smush them in little grooves and little holes and everything so that you really get the right texture of your iPhone when you take it out. I'm just showing you this because I used 25 pink Skittles and I'm realizing that I have 7 colors to fill up this iPhone with, and I wasn't really sure how many I needed, so I think I'm going to chop this part off and stick with like 18 to 20 Skittles for all the other colors. So chop, 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 and then we should be good to go for all the other colors. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking, and the good thing about Skittles is that they actually harden quite quickly, so I didn't even put this in the fridge or anything. That was just from me working on it. So, moving on to red, again, microwave them for about 20 seconds, smush them up here like I'm doing, and then to get that softer consistency for your phone, just put it in for another 10 to 15 seconds. And again, ensuring that it's not too hot. You can always wait a little bit so you don't burn yourself. So we'll just carry on like this for each color. Well, what do you guys think so far? I think it looks pretty good, and again, I'm not even having to put this in the fridge, you guys. That's the best part, is that it hardens quite quickly, but I'm very happy with the results so far. So, moving on to our last 2 colors, which is blue and purple, and then we're done. So when you guys get to the bottom of your phone, you do want the texture of all the little buttons and holes at the bottom, so I'm trying to smush that in so you can see it. But you do have to make sure that it doesn't really hover over the edge or spill over the edge, because when you go to take it off, it's going to catch on that and it might snap off. So you want to be super smart about how you're pushing it through, but not too much so it doesn't catch. So I did put this in the fridge. And then I did take it out and let it sit a little bit so it wasn't too hard, because you guys, it could easily crack apart because they're not quite, you know, super glued together. So you just want to be smart about that as well. So I'm just carefully peeling off the edges, and the reason why it's so easy is because the oil that we put in prior to doing this. If you didn't do that, you'll notice that the Skittles stick a lot. So again, the oil is very important. Now, you might have to slightly cut your iPhone case depending on how tight it is. So some of them are obviously softer than others, some of them are harder. So if you need to, just take a little X-Acto knife and just slice the corners a little bit, assuming that this isn't your actual phone case that you use. So if you have an old one, that's obviously better. So carefully popping this out. Now you do want to be so careful because it will crack if you're not careful. It will break apart. So here I'm showing you what I was talking about before, where some of the purple had gone over the case, so it's actually proving to be quite difficult to taking this out because it's hooked on there. So I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and just try to chip off a little bit of the Skittles. Again, just make sure that when you're doing it, you try not to get to this point because it is quite tricky, and just a warning that your whole iPhone might fall out and completely shatter. So, you know, just be super careful. We do not want that to happen. Okay, phew, we got it out in one piece. So good luck to you all that do this. It is quite tricky, so make sure that you guys stay patient, and I'm sure you can do it. Anyways, I am so happy with how this turned out, you guys. Check it out, a Skittles iPhone with buttons and everything. How cool does this look? And I don't know about you guys, but Skittles are my absolute favorite candy, so this just looks so delicious to me. And so now we get to put on the screen. So I have my edible paper and my cake decorating markers, which are so cool. So I take up my paper, and this stuff is so thick, you guys, if you haven't seen this before. And actually, I didn't realize this, but when you buy it, you just get one sheet. So make sure that you guys use it wisely. And it does dry out quite quickly, so just make sure you guys put it back in the bag. So I printed my screen that I have here, my paper, off of Review Outlaw, and I'm just going to trace over it. So again, if you want to do this, you can go to the website called Review Outlaw and just look for iPhone 6, and they should have a little printable page for you. So snip, snip, snip. You have your edible paper and your screen here, your printable screen. So flip it over, not flip it over, but switch it up. So put the edible stuff on top, and you can fortunately still see through it quite easily. I'm using a paper clip here, which you actually want to be very careful with because it can scratch or crack the sugar paper. So if you have a little clip or something that's a little bit smoother, you can use that too. So I'm going to get out my edible markers, my cake decorating pens, I think is what they're called. And I have 10 of them here for all the different colors. And I'm going to have some fun tracing these cute little apps on my edible paper. Okay, there we go. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. They might not be perfect, but we're gonna eat it anyways, right? But lots of fun to make, you guys. So I use my icing as glue. So this is just plain old white icing that you buy from the store in the baking aisle, and I'm gonna use it like white glue, and then I'm gonna stick it to my phone. And you wanna make sure that when you stick it to your phone, obviously it's on the correct side. And that's it, you guys. That's how you make a totally edible Skittles iPhone, right down to the little details of the button and the apps. And I'm just so happy with how these turn out, you guys. They're so easy to make and so fun to have. And of course, the best part is that you can eat them afterwards, and I'm sure they'll last you a long time because that's a lot of candy. Okay, so that's it for now. Make sure that you guys subscribe if you haven't done so. We're so close to 50,000, so please help us get there. And of course, leave a comment letting me know